Hello and welcome back to Down the Track. Sunrisers Hyderabad making this look very easy at the end of the day. I mean, not necessarily easy, but I think today was a little bit of a tricky game. At least we got a close game, which we were expecting. But Sunrisers Hyderabad, man, whenever they put under pressure, they come out flying. I don't know what to say, what to do, what to think. I mean, it's just been absolutely incredible, this kind of performance. Game after game, now 4 games in a row, they've beat the top 3 sides, and they beat the one out of 3 now left. 1 out of 3 done. They have Delhi and Mumbai to go. And with the kind of momentum that they're going, they'd probably be the one team that Mumbai would not want to face going into the last stages of this game, or of the last game of the tournament, you know?
Yeah, I mean, these are the teams where you don't want to really play because they're unpredictable. Anything can happen, and they're momentum going. There's a lot of weaknesses in the team, but when everything is clicking, you don't want to play these kind of teams because they play. Everything just goes right for them, you know. And it's been unbelievable performance again today. I think Sunrisers played magnificently. They bowled really well. Batting, it got really tight, but I think to win like that, it'll give them a lot of confidence because normally they rely on their top 2 like Warner and Bairstow, Warner and Saha, but I think with Williamson in the middle order and Holder giving support, I think that'll give them a lot of confidence going into the next 2 games. But that's it, man. I think not many people expected from SRH, and they don't have that much pressure on them, and they're playing free cricket, I think. Whereas RCB, if you look at it, I think a lot of pressure. You could see AB was playing well, but no support. A lot of pressure on him. Virat Kohli didn't look as free flowing best as well with the bat. Finch gave a start, but he couldn't finish. You could see there's the RCB team is more under the spotlight if you just look at it overall in the IPL, because everyone expects the stars to win. SRH have some quality players, but probably playing with less pressure, and they've just gelled well as a unit. I think when I saw the team sheet today, I thought it was going to be RCB's game because Saha is a big miss. Don't get me wrong, one player doesn't win you a game, but look at the injury list Sunrisers have had in this tournament, and these are key Indian players, and when they get injured, it changes the whole balance, and it's very difficult to replace what they're doing. Saha is giving 50-60 runs every game. It's difficult to replace that, but someone or the other stepped up, and it was a wonderful team performance, I feel.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think with the kind of limitations that Sunrisers have gone into this tournament, with the kind of injuries, I think they're almost second to none in terms of the luck that they've had with their injuries. But they're taking the challenge with both arms, and they're coming out stronger. Every time you think that there might be an issue, the other guys are kind of stepping up. You saw Vijay Shankar is injured, you saw Holder step up, you saw Bhuvi is injured, you saw Sandeep Sharma, Natarajan step up, you saw Saha's injured now, but I mean Goswami wasn't able to step up, but the batting came through. That's what matters, right? At the end of the day, that the batting came through, and the bowling today as well. You notice today Sandeep Sharma was not able to give you those regular wickets in the beginning. Jason Holder stepped up and he got the openers out, and then in the middle Rashid Khan wasn't able to provide the wickets, but then Natarajan came in and got a couple of wickets. So things like that, it was just perfectly done. I mean, everything was just falling in place for this side, and that is exactly what you want. You want some fortune to favor your side, because the guys who have to step up are stepping up quite significantly. And the kind of limitations, I keep mentioning that, and we mentioned this several times, the kind of limitations that this team has had with very, very important players missing out. I mean, hats off to this team. Whoever wins at the end of the day, I think just the kind of, I mean, yes, we are fans and we are probably talking a little bit more, but I just feel as a general person, as a general roundup of kind of what you do, RCB had no injuries. They had no injuries. It had one player that they had an injury per se, except for this game, Chris Morris in today's game, and he's been very good for them.
And you could see what that one injury did to them,
exactly.
It was a big miss for them, but at the same time, Sunrisers had 3 or 4 injuries which have been crucial as well.
So exactly, and kind of when you look at when Mumbai played against Sunrisers, when they rested 2 of their players, they look a completely different side, right? 2 of their star players was rested.
It's an excellent point.
Completely different side.
I agree
what happens with the Sunrisers? Important players are missing throughout the series. We had Kane injured, we have Vijay Shankar injured, he came back, he got injured again. Saha was injured, now he messed up today. Bhuvi, big injury, he's out. We started off with Mitchell Marsh's injury. So 4-5 big players that you kind of build your team around are not available, and they still make the most of it. So that's why I think that you have to give absolute immense credit to this team. And I mean, like I said again, I'm a huge fan, so maybe I'm being a little biased over there, but I think that it was just perfectly done.
No, but if you look at it from a neutral point of view, it's a very fair point because like I mean, if you're biased, you would say like something like you would say like Sandeep is better than Bumrah or something like that. But that's your point is very valid in this sense. Like you're not saying something over the top. You're actually looking at the other teams who are struggling, and it's a fair point. Like Morris wasn't there; they missed him. Like today, if they had him, they could have played better. Like for sure, 100%. And same Bhuvi with Shankar, it changed. Not only are they is Bhuvi a big match bowler, but it also helps the balance of the team. It allows you to play the likes of Bairstow. That guy is one of the best wicket-keeping batsmen, and he's sitting on the bench, and nothing, and no fault of his, right? And no fault of the team management. That's what they have to do. So I feel that a very valid point. Nothing over the top there, and I agree with that. I think it's very simple and straightforward. Yeah.
So I think that's something that is very interesting and kind of what Sunrisers. But hats off to this team. This team has been punching above their weight every single season. Like you see, you never really expect this team to kind of do what they do, and they're always like just performing season after season, 5 seasons in a row now that they've made the playoffs. If they beat Delhi, this will be a third. 2 out of 3 times when they reach the finals as well. So that's just incredible stuff from them. I mean, it's just hats off to this absolutely incredible team. But moving on to Bangalore, I mean, an important game, and they had to change up 2 or 3 big changes. They had to get in Zampa, they had to get in Moeen Ali, they get in Aaron Finch, which is understandable. 1 or 2 changes is understandable because you had to improve your bowling attack because of the fact that Morris was going to be injured. Josh Philippe was not giving you as much as you wanted from him, so maybe you wanted to bring that. But then they change everything around. This is kind of the issue with RCB from day one. They keep changing things around. You have an absolutely incredible player in Moeen Ali, and you bowled him 1 over when the ball is spinning. You see the likes of Zampa and Chahal, who've been bowling well. You saw that they were able to get that. They were effective. Why are you not giving Moeen Ali another over? These kind of things that just sometimes surprise you. I don't know what it is. I mean, maybe from you and me sitting from far away, it's easier said than done. But it's just Moeen Ali is your T20 specialist. You have to try him out. I don't know what happened over there.
Yeah, and the problem is it's happening for a huge period of time. The last 8-10 years it's happening with RCB, these issues, right? And yes, you can say the bowling hasn't been the strongest or everything, but I think this year they had a pretty good team. Yes, Morris was injured, but like you said, I don't think they had to make so many changes, even in the batting order. Yes, Virat Kohli at the top, it looks good, but are you taking that risk right in an eliminator game? Maybe you should have tried that out. You had the whole season to try that out. You know what I mean? Then Finch, you dropped him for 4 or 5 games. You played Felipe. I don't think Felipe did too much wrong. But yes, okay, fine. They got Finch back, but then play him at the top. You're playing him in a different position. So you're trying too many changes, at game time. I don't think they should have tried it before, I feel. And I believe, in this situation, they should have probably gone more like for like replacement. A fast bowler for a fast bowler. Yes, and okay, fine. They didn't play Umesh Yadav instead of Morris. I can understand he's also expensive. He can get hit for runs, but you have Moeen Ali, try him out. Like you said, the ball is turning there is pressure, the spinners dried up the runs, try him out, why not? Yes, I agree. Yes, today you could say okay, decisions, they still took it close, I think, but the problem, but I think they lost the game in the batting. No one supported AB de Villiers. And that Natarajan ball to AB de Villiers, I messaged one of our friends privately, and I said that AB is going to smash Natarajan in this over. I said that because he bowls those tries those Yorkers, and I thought AB is going to play the scoop, reverse scoop and everything, and I personally felt this over is going to go for 20 runs. Nothing against Natarajan, but man, the guy continues to bowl on he continues to try to bowl those Yorkers, and that's how he got him out. So I mean, credit to him. I think
fantastic ball, fantastic.
Maybe that wasn't the game changer, but I'm just saying, him and Holder pegged him down AB a bit, and he wasn't. They were getting wickets at the other end. So I think Bangalore were 20-30 runs short, and because AB didn't get enough support.
And that showed. I mean, that absolutely showed in the end. So you're absolutely right. But just a touch on Natarajan. Fantastic delivery, and he's a proud father today as well.
Yeah,
and he
congratulations to him.
Yeah, he could have very easily just said that, oh, my wife is pregnant, I have to go. He could have left. No one could have stopped him.
Yeah,
but he stayed, and he because he knows that the team needs him, he stayed. He finished the business end of the tournament. He could have been a big miss for Sunrisers. He stayed, he played, and he performed, and he got the best batsman in the world out. What more do you want, right? Like what kind? And it's a rags to riches story for him. I'm very, very happy that he's performing that well. I mean, just hats off to him.
And to be honest, I didn't expect much from him. I didn't expect him to bowl like this. He's bowling incredible this season. He got hit. Pollard smashed him in the last game. Don't get me wrong, like, but it's not that. He's like, his plan is clear.
Yeah,
like, I'm going to bowl Yorkers. If I get hit, I get it, and I'm going to continue. Yes, it can cost you. I feel still that he should mix it up here and there. But I think today he did mix it up a bit better. And that Yorker was executed perfectly. And you can see when you bowl a Yorker, when you do execute it right, you can get anybody out, whether it be AB or anybody else. So I think credit to him for sticking to his plan.
Yeah, absolutely. What an absolutely incredible player, but incredible performance just by like him and the bowling unit today. Sandeep Sharma was economical, but he didn't like get the wickets. Rashid was also economical, but didn't get the wickets. But some of the other guys stepped up, like the likes of Jason Holder, the likes of Natarajan, the likes of, if I'm not wrong, Nadeem got a wicket. But that's kind of how they worked around it. And just perfect execution of plans, and just they know what they need to do, and they're out there doing that job game after game for the past 4 games now. And the batting front, like you lose a couple of wickets and then things start to look shaky. Step up, Mr. Captain Cool of New Zealand, Kane Williamson. What a player, man. What a player. I've been saying from game one, he should play every single game in this team. And this is the reason you pay the big bucks for these big players, right? Because they get you out of these situations and they win you these games. And an unpopular opinion maybe, but Jason Holder was my man of the match. Because everyone will talk about Kane and Williamson, but for me, he broke the back of that, the most important wicket one of the most important wickets in the thing early of Virat Kohli, right? Early, he got the informed Devdutt Padikkal and Virat Kohli, 2 important wickets. So he kind of brings them, tags them back a little bit, brings AB in early, which is good because the way AB kind of trying to set himself up and he uses some balls and everything. It could go both ways, obviously, but something to think about. And second, he came out there, and if he would have lost his wicket early, you expect Kane to do what he was doing. But if Jason Holder would have gotten out early, it could have been a big issue. Why? Because you bring in the inexperience of Samad and then Rashid to follow. Then you have no more batting left, right? So Holder to kind of support Kane over there at that time when Kane was needed it the most was, I think, very, very important to see this game off. And his 20-30 runs plus those 2 wickets make him the man of the match for me.
That's it. And the biggest difference, that was the biggest difference in the game. AB didn't have support. Kane got support, and Holder just stood there. He just stood there till the end. In the end, he hit those 2 crucial boundaries, but he was just trying to take the single, and he just stood there. Now that's it. Kane was doing everything. And like you said, it was a marvelous innings. Don't get me wrong. Williamson was like absolute class, man. The calmness, and it was a very nervy game, but when he was there, like as an audience, you were like, oh, this is calm. Just the shot he plays, it's nothing like who smashes it or anything like that. It's just like beautiful shots. So I think yes, he played to expectation. He played brilliantly, but it was, I think, Holder's contribution would allowed him to do that for sure. 100%. It is I think Williamson deserved the man of the match today, but if you look at it from a different perspective, yes, Holder's contribution was absolute key today. I have a question for you, if you don't mind asking.
Absolutely.
I don't know if this has been brought up or anything, but I don't know if you're going to ask me this question, but I'm going to ask it to you. Your thoughts on Virat Kohli's captaincy, and do you think it's been an issue for RCB?
We've brought it up several times, I think. What are you saying? We have never brought it up. Of course, we've brought it up a few times. And
not today, I mean.
No, of course not today. But yeah, the question remains. There is that lack of
because he's such a great because he's a great player, you don't want to really question, right? Other people don't really talk about it, but that question is gonna come, man.
No, I agree with you 100%. I want to just bring up a point, and this is something that I'm just maybe I'm talking out of my skin, maybe I'm talking out of my knee. I'm not putting in any analysis over there, but just something to think about, right? When Kane Williamson hits that shot, it's the most important moment of the game, right? It's the most important moment of the game. Devdutt Padikkal is putting his hand up. He's trying to catch that ball, right? And of course, it wasn't that he intentionally dropped. It wasn't like a sitter that he dropped, right?
His leg got stuck.
Yeah, it was a pretty difficult chance, and he saved the team 5 runs. At that time, even that was important. We saw Navdeep Saini clap and applaud that kind of a effort, right? But when the camera turns to Virat, he's really mad.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, he's pissed off. He's really mad. At that time, I just feel like even Shivam Dubey, I think he looks at Virat to kind of for encouragement. And I feel like I could be completely wrong here, but I just feel like in those moments of heat, because he's such a passionate player, because he's such an important, like he's just so good at what he does, and he expects that kind level of high consistency from everyone else. I just think that sometimes in those heated, passionate moments, I think he just gives out a little bit, and that's not something that a player who's looking up to him wants to see at that moment in time. I could be wrong now, of course, but that's just what I feel. And these are small little things that change, that kind of could go either way. I mean, of course, it could spur the player on to do better, but it could also demotivate the player. Things like that. And then every single game, these kind of changes that are happening, he's very big on matchups, and these kind of changes that happen, I don't think it should be like that. It should be pretty simple. This is my best 11. If this guy gets injured, this is the replacement. If this guy gets injured, this is a replacement. You get 5 to 6 games to prove yourself. If you don't perform, this guy replaces you. You have all these plans set. You don't have to worry so much about like all these matchups and try to like change things around. Yes, you depending on surface conditions, you want to bring a couple of players in. It always makes sense. 1 or 2 changes make sense, but 3 or 4 changes in a high intensity, important game, and then things that Virat, you have Aaron Finch, who's probably the best opener in domestic cricket right now. I mean, in white ball cricket right now. Yes, he hasn't been performing very well, but he's an opener. Just play him at open, and your best batsman should be playing at number 3. And Virat Kohli is your best batsman. He plays at number 3. It's simple as that, right? Things like that I just don't understand sometimes. But there has to be some thinking that goes behind it. But these are the things
there are a lot of people who are pushing. There are a lot of people pushing for Kohli to open the innings. But I feel if that was going to happen, that should have happened earlier. At least 3 or 4 games before the playoffs,
exactly.
or maybe at least the last 2 games. But I think that's the thing. And even decisions like today, he gave Shivam Dubey the ball. Dubey only went for 7 runs, but I felt that was a big gamble. It could have. It didn't go north or south. It was still a decent over and everything, but it could have. And like you said, at that time, maybe bowl the spinner, bowl like someone like Moeen Ali. So some decisions here and there, I think they were a bit dodgy, but I think this year they'll be really disappointed that they didn't reach the finals for sure, 100%.
Yeah. I think with the way they started,
they played some really good cricket in the beginning, and I think they just couldn't gain the momentum. I think there's 5 games now in a row that they lost. So I think they'll be very disappointed with the way it ended, because it looked like RCB, it might just be their year, at least go in in the second qualifier finals for sure, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's something that they will have to look into. It kind of started off very nicely for them, and it tapered off, and it ended the way the usual RCB ends with the kind of seasons that we've seen in the past, where they've kind of completely lost it, and they were not able to find answers to some of the questions that they have. But having said that, I think it was a good tournament. They should take some heart out of it. They should take some positives out of it, and look for some improvements going into next season, because now these every single IPL game is now very closely fought. So at the end of the day, it might come out to being like 1 or 2 games. I mean, eventually it's going to get more tougher in the IPL, because everyone's buying smartly. Every team is buying smartly. Everyone's trying to work on balances and everything, and that's going to be very, very interesting as to how this kind of goes through towards the end of towards next season and the seasons to come from here on. So it's going to be interesting for sure. But I think Jason Holder, for both of us, as a kind of an unpopular opinion, as man of match.
Yeah, I mean, I love Williamson. I'm just giving it to Holder. I feel because, like you said, all the points you mentioned, his contribution was vital there. And if he got out, maybe Williamson would have found it a bit more difficult. Yeah.
Right. And just on the basis of that, I think fair enough.
Yeah, but Williamson is the man of the match as well.
Of course, I think if we could give it to both, we'd definitely give it to both for 100%, no doubt about that. Yeah. Just in the terms of kind of having that little bit more of an impact with the ball and bat. I mean, if Kane Williamson could bowl, he'd probably take 5 wickets as well. Who knows?
Yeah. But and the thing is, Jason Holder is not only doing Bhuvi's job, but he's also doing a batsman's job as well, Vijay Shankar's job as well. Yeah, he's doing both kind of jobs, and I think that's giving the likes of Warner and Saha the confidence to go up at the top as well.
Exactly. Yeah. And hopefully Saha is back. Hopefully it's a small term injury, because they probably need him, because Goswami was a little bit off color. Of course, he hasn't played for a while, so that's not easy as well. But I mean, Saha has been so good for you, so it's important.
Yeah, exactly. One last quick question. I'm sorry I'm dragging this, but I think it's an important matter in the match. David Warner's dismissal. I understand that. I still don't know if it hit his glove or not. I couldn't see. I think it was really close. Yeah. But my opinion in this is that if the soft signal is not out, then it's not out. If the soft signal is out, then he's out. So technically, because the umpire said not out, the third umpire, he's like, the third umpire said there's a spike. I'm like, it could be the leg also.
Exactly. There was no conclusive evidence to overturn the decision. That is what is written in the rule books. you have to follow the rule books. If you don't have conclusive evidence to overturn the decision on field, you don't give it. Even when you see Hawkeye and everything, you see if it's umpire's call, it's umpire's call. It doesn't matter who does what. It was a wrong decision that was made by the third umpire. There's no two ways about it. Anyone who's questioning that should go back to the rule books and read it. No conclusive evidence to overturn the decision does not get overturned. As simple as that. Not out on the field remains not out.
Yeah,
it could have been. There were so many things. There was a bat, there was a pad, there was the pant. There was a lot of things that happened together. It wasn't conclusive enough, and that was by no means there was a wrong decision was made over there, and that kind of gave the jitters down to a lot of Sunrisers fans. But luckily, nothing came out of it because they ended up winning. But that was a wrong decision, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
But moving on, this resurgent Sunrisers Hyderabad team now takes on another team similar to Bangalore who's been underperforming per se, right?
Yeah.
And the Delhi Capitals. So Sunrisers take on Delhi Capitals on Sunday, which is going to be another exciting game. And with the way this Sunrisers team is going, none of these teams want to face this team right now. Mumbai has been one of the teams that has been tough to beat. And now in the second half of the tournament, Sunrisers has been one of those kind of teams that's been tough to beat as well. So in an ideal world, it should be Mumbai versus Sunrisers because at least as of right now on current form, these are the two top teams. Yeah. But Delhi has a very, very good team. They have a very, very good coach, and they will be wanting to turn things around. I mean, they've had a very good first half of the tournament. There's no way that they should be in the position that they are. So what do you think?
I think it depends what Delhi shows up because on paper they have a better team than Sunrisers Hyderabad, in my opinion. I think death bowling is unbelievable. They have some quality batsmen, but nobody's clicking. So that's the thing, right? And the thing is, if even 2 of those 5 batsmen click, they have a really good chance to win the game. So that's the thing. Last time you only had Marcus Stoinis performing. If he got any support, they would have gone close against Mumbai. So I feel on paper this Delhi team is a really good team. But the thing is, momentum is on Sunrisers' side now, and they wouldn't want to play a team like Sunrisers who do attack. So I think it'll be a very interesting game. It depends on which side shows up, but if Delhi play to potential, then they will be favorites. But if Sunrisers keep the momentum going, they'll be favorites. So it'll be very interesting.
Absolutely, I think it's going to be a fun game, as has been today's game as well.
Yeah.
So looking forward to it. I mean, there's it's just a matter of which Delhi side shows up. If the Delhi side that we know of the first half of the tournament kind of shows up, it'll make things hard for this Sunrisers team.
Yeah.
But if the Delhi of the second half shows up, then Sunrisers.
Yeah, exactly. It depends on that, and also I think for Sunrisers they'll be sweating on Saha's return. If he can come back into the squad, into the team, it'll help them immensely. If he doesn't, it'll be even tougher mountain to climb. So they'll be looking at that. But apart from that, one small advantage Sunrisers do have is they've played in Abu Dhabi, and that's where the match is. They just played this game, and they're going to play the next game here. So they'll be more familiar with the conditions.
And these are the kind of pitches that suit Sunrisers the best. Because it's not express speed. The ball's taking a while to come onto the bat.
That's a fair point.
So the bowlers of this team, of the Sunrisers team, are more accustomed to this kind of a pitch versus the likes of let's say Rabada and Nautier, who are express pace and who are trying to dig it in the pitch, and they don't get that much purchase. Versus the variations and stuff like that Sandeep and Holder and Natarajan bring are a little bit more accustomed to the kind of pitch that it currently is.
Yeah, and that's why Delhi need their Indian batsmen to step up, because the Indian batsmen should be accustomed to playing on these type of pitches. Right. So that's why they need the Indian batsmen to step up for sure.
And it's going to be a fun game to watch, but your players to watch out for in each team.
For Sunrisers, everybody, man. You don't know who's going to show up. It's going to be a crazy thing. But I think Warner, man, after the decision he got, I think he'll want to.
If he can get his partner in crime back, Saha, I think that Warner is a completely different player after that.
Yeah, no, definitely. So, and actually he was getting going. He had 2 fours in that over where he got out. Right. So, I mean, it could be anyone. It could be Sandeep, Rashid. You can pick anybody. I'm just going with Warner like that. And for Delhi, I'm going again with the Rishabh Pant, man. I don't know why I keep saying it, but I'm just going because I feel that he needs to perform. It's high time now. And I think he could swing the game in their favor. So I have to go with Rishabh Pant.
From Delhi, you know who I'm going to pick. He's been the only shining light in what's been a poor Delhi performance lately, right? Over the past few games. When he got hit, it was even worse. But even last game, they got hit, but he was better. Like,
yeah, and I think that'll be a key contest, him to Warner. I think that'll be a key
so that's going to be very important. So we'll see how that goes per se. But interesting stuff around over here, right? One other thing was from Hyderabad, I want to see Abdul Samad, because he's the only batsman who hasn't stepped up. If we need him, he comes in, scores a few sixes, and gets us home. That's kind of what I'm saying. And him in the field, like I feel like the ball goes to him a lot.
Yeah.
Even when he's fielding, it just feels like.
And he's a safe fielder.
He's a decent fielder. Yeah, for sure.
He took 2 catches today. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a safe fielder. He's we've seen a couple of instances where he's been a little bit poor. There was that one game in the one instance in the last game where he went through his legs for 4. There was that one incident, but of course these things happen. But he's a decently safe fielder. In the deep, he's usually at square leg or who's the other side?
Covers. Cover extra cover.
Yeah, so kind of depends on either or. So he's been doing a good job. So hats off to him. He hasn't been because he hasn't bowled since that initial burst of bowling. He hasn't been gotten a chance to bat per se. So he's the only guy he kind of needs to have a nice beginnings. Who knows? Tomorrow that Sunday game might be his chance. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, definitely.
But of course, I think we're both tipping Hyderabad to win. I don't think there's any.
Once you start backing them, then
once a riser, always a riser.
Yeah, man. And this is the fun part about supporting this team. 1 minute we're out of the tournament, 1 minute we're in the tournament. Like that's the fun part is to support a team like this. The highs and lows. After that Punjab game, I think a lot of Sunrisers fans were like so depressed, and now they're on like another level of happiness. So I think that's the fun part of the cricket. Man, sometimes you do, sometimes you win.
Exactly, and it's going to be fun to see, and looking forward to the games, and we'll catch you right after.
For sure, man. Take care and see you soon.